Retirement can fall apart a lot faster than people think. One bad move, one wrong zip code, and those so-called golden years start looking less like peace and freedom and more like a part-time job with no paycheck, a stack of medical bills, and weather that acts like it has a personal grudge against you. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about money, lifestyle, and the decisions that can quietly make life easier or dramatically more expensive. And today we're diving into a topic that too many people figure out far too late. Because retirement is not just about how much money you saved, it's also about where that money has to survive. A nest egg can look solid on paper, then suddenly get chewed up by housing costs, taxes, insurance, healthcare, and everyday expenses like a buffet line that never closes. And here's the problem. A lot of places look wonderful at first glance. Nice scenery, familiar name, maybe even a reputation that sounds comforting. But behind that polished image, some of these states can turn retirement into a slow, expensive headache. We're talking about the kind of places where fixed income starts feeling flexible in all the wrong ways, where one emergency, one tax bill, or one spike in living costs can hit your budget like a shopping cart with a broken wheel. The numbers are part of the story, of course. Rising healthcare costs, property taxes, insurance burdens, and overall cost of living have become major pressure points for retirees across America. But this is not just about statistics. This is about peace of mind. This is about whether your retirement feels calm and stable or like a never-ending financial obstacle course designed by someone who clearly does not wish you well. So in this video, we're counting down the 10 states that could make your retirement miserable. And trust me, some of the names on this list may seriously surprise you. Stay with me all the way to number 1 because the state at the top of this countdown has a way of turning retirement dreams into budget panic with impressive efficiency. Before we get into it, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments which state you would never retire in. Number 10, New Jersey. High costs, high stress, low retirement joy. New Jersey has a reputation for prestige, proximity, and polished suburbs. Unfortunately for retirees, it also has a reputation for draining bank accounts faster than a leaking faucet you forgot to fix. On paper, it looks convenient. In reality, it can quietly turn retirement into a budgeting boot camp. Let's start with the elephant in the room: property taxes. New Jersey consistently ranks among the highest in the nation. Even if you own your home outright, the state still expects a yearly tribute that can rival a modest mortgage payment elsewhere. For retirees on fixed incomes, this isn't just annoying, it's destabilizing. Your house may be paid off, but New Jersey makes sure you never truly feel that relief. Then there's the overall cost of living. Housing, utilities, groceries, and transportation all trend well above the national average. Retirement is supposed to be the phase where your money works less overtime. In New Jersey, your money is still pulling double shifts and asking for coffee breaks it never gets. Healthcare access is solid, but healthcare costs don't always feel retiree-friendly. Insurance premiums, copays, and out-of-pocket expenses add up quickly, especially when paired with the state's general expense levels. Medical quality is strong, but the price tag often reminds you that quality isn't free and sometimes not forgiving. Taxes don't stop at property. While Social Security benefits are not taxed, other retirement income can be. Pensions, withdrawals, and investment income may still face state taxes depending on thresholds. Many retirees assume tax pressure eases in retirement. In New Jersey, it simply changes shape. Lifestyle is another quiet challenge. Traffic congestion, dense population, and constant development can wear on retirees seeking peace and simplicity. Retirement dreams often include calm mornings and flexible schedules. In New Jersey, you may still find yourself planning errands around traffic patterns like you're late for work again. New Jersey isn't a bad place to live, it's just an expensive place to stop earning. For retirees with substantial savings, it may be manageable. For everyone else, it can feel like retiring into a financial headwind that never fully dies down. At number 10, New Jersey earns its spot, not because it's unbearable, but because retirement there demands a level of financial stamina many people hope to leave behind. Number 9, Illinois, where taxes age you faster than time. Illinois has mastered a rare skill, making retirees feel like they're still working for the state. On paper, it sounds reasonable. No tax on Social Security benefits. That's the bait. The switch comes in the form of some of the highest property taxes in the country, especially brutal if you own a home. For many retirees, property taxes quietly become the second mortgage that never ends. Housing costs vary, but even modest homes can carry shocking annual tax bills. Downsizing doesn't always help either. Smaller homes still get taxed like luxury items. Add in rising utility costs, especially during long winters, and suddenly your fixed income starts sweating. Illinois also struggles with long-term pension debt and budget gaps, which makes future tax increases feel less like a possibility and more like a tradition. Retirees live under a constant uncertainty, wondering what new temporary tax will become permanent next. Healthcare access is solid in metro areas but thins out quickly in rural regions. That means more travel, more costs, and more stress. Three things retirement promised to reduce. Illinois isn't unlivable, but for retirees it often feels like financial whack-a-mole. Solve one expense and another pops up. Retirement should be about peace, not property tax roulette. Number 8. California. Sunshine with a side of sticker shock. California sells the dream hard: beaches, perfect weather, and endless lifestyle options. What they don't advertise is how aggressively expensive it is to simply exist there, especially in retirement. Housing costs alone can torch a retirement plan. Even paid-off homeowners face sky-high property values that translate into higher insurance, maintenance, and opportunity costs. Renters, that's a whole different level of financial pain. State income taxes are among the highest in the nation, and retirement income, including pensions and withdrawals, often gets pulled into the tax net. Add high sales taxes and rising healthcare costs, and your money evaporates faster than fog on the coast. Daily expenses feel inflated across the board: groceries, gas, utilities, even parking. Retirement budgets that work beautifully elsewhere suddenly feel naive here. California isn't short on beauty, but beauty doesn't pay bills. For many retirees, the math stops working long before the sunsets stop being pretty. Number 7. New York. Retire rich or retire tired. New York has a way of dazzling people into staying longer than their finances would recommend. It's electric, iconic, and endlessly interesting, especially when you're earning a paycheck. Retirement, however, changes the math. Once the income slows down, the costs don't politely follow suit. They sprint ahead. Taxes are the first reality check. New York doesn't believe in a retirement discount. State income taxes remain firmly in place, and local taxes often pile on top like an extra service charge no one asked for. Property taxes can feel especially relentless, quietly draining savings year after year. Even retirees who paid off their homes often discover they're still paying a premium just to stay put. Housing is the next stress test. Whether you're renting or owning, New York makes sure you earn every square foot. Downsizing helps, but not as much as people expect. Suburban and upstate areas may look affordable on paper, yet hidden costs show up quickly. High property taxes, rising insurance premiums, heating bills that spike during long winters, and maintenance expenses that don't care how old the house or the homeowner is. Healthcare is where the state shines, but it shines with a price tag attached. World-class hospitals and specialists are a major plus, especially as health needs increase with age. The downside is the cost. Premiums, deductibles, co-pays, and uncovered services can stack up faster than retirees anticipate. Managing chronic conditions in a high-cost healthcare market can quietly erode even a well-planned budget. Daily living expenses add another layer of pressure. Groceries, transportation, utilities, and services consistently sit above the national average. Small indulgences, dining out, cultural events, simple leisure activities often come with big city prices, making it harder to enjoy retirement without constant budget calculations. New York tends to reward those with substantial wealth or multiple income streams. For retirees relying on fixed incomes, it can feel less like a victory lap and more like endurance training. The state offers excitement, culture, and access, but retirement here often feels like trying to relax while standing on a moving sidewalk that never slows down. In New York, retirement isn't impossible, it's just expensive. And for many retirees, the question becomes less about lifestyle and more about stamina. Number 6, Massachusetts. Smart state, expensive retirement. Massachusetts has a well-earned reputation for brains and breakthroughs. World-class universities, cutting-edge hospitals, and historic charm make it an impressive place to live. But retiring there is a different equation, one where the math rarely works in your favor. Taxes are the first quiet drain. Social Security benefits mostly get a pass, which sounds comforting until you realize much of your retirement income probably won't. Withdrawals from retirement accounts, pensions, and investment income can still face state taxes, slowly shrinking what you thought was a solid nest egg. Housing is where reality really settles in. Even far from Boston's skyline, prices stay stubbornly high. Property taxes, maintenance costs, and insurance premiums don't retire when you do. They keep showing up month after month like bills that miss the memo. Downsizing helps, but it doesn't always deliver the relief retirees expect. Then there's the climate. Winters in Massachusetts are long, cold, and expensive. Heating bills climb, roofs and pipes take a beating, and snow removal becomes another recurring expense. Retirement is supposed to slow life down, not turn every winter into a budget stress test. Healthcare is excellent, arguably among the best in the country. But excellence carries a price tag. Premiums, deductibles, and supplemental coverage costs rise steadily, especially for retirees managing ongoing health issues. The quality is reassuring, the cost is relentless. Massachusetts is a brilliant state with a lot to offer. It's just not particularly kind to fixed incomes. For retirees without substantial savings, living there can feel less like a well-earned victory lap and more like constantly trying to stay ahead of the bill collectors. Number 5, Connecticut. Small state, big retirement costs. Connecticut looks peaceful on the surface. Tree-lined streets, historic towns, coastal views, and that classic New England calm make it feel like an ideal place to slow down. Financially, though, retirement here can feel like trying to relax while someone keeps checking your credit card statement. The biggest pressure point is taxes. Connecticut is known for some of the highest property taxes in the country, and they don't magically shrink once you retire. Downsizing doesn't always help either. Smaller homes can still come with surprisingly large tax bills. Add state income taxes into the mix, and retirees often feel like their fixed income is being gently but consistently squeezed. Housing costs stay elevated across much of the state. Even areas far from major cities can be pricey, especially when you factor in maintenance, insurance, and utilities. Connecticut winters are long and unapologetic, and heating bills have a way of arriving with main character energy right when you're trying to budget carefully. Healthcare access is solid, but like most things here, it comes at a premium. Insurance, out-of-pocket expenses, and long-term care costs can rise steadily, turning what looked like a manageable retirement plan into a constant math problem. Many forms of retirement income are taxed, which quietly reduces what you actually get to spend each month. Connecticut offers safety, structure, and stability. What it doesn't offer easily is affordability. Retirement here often requires more savings, more planning, and less margin for error than people expect. It's a state that rewards preparation and punishes financial complacency. Calm living is possible, but only if your numbers are stronger than average. Number 4, Pennsylvania. Affordable until it isn't. Pennsylvania has a talent for making a great first impression on retirees. No tax on Social Security, no tax on most retirement income. On paper, it looks like the kind of place where your money can finally relax. Then real life shows up with a calculator. Property taxes are the main plot twist. In many counties, they rise steadily and quietly like background noise you don't notice until it's too loud to ignore. Two retirees with similar homes can pay wildly different amounts depending on location, making long-term budgeting feel more like guesswork than planning. Local taxes add another layer of unpredictability. Some towns lean heavily on earned income taxes, school levies, and municipal fees. The result is a patchwork system where crossing a county line can change your financial reality overnight. Healthcare access is another mixed bag. Urban areas offer strong hospital networks, but rural regions can mean longer drives, fewer specialists, and higher out-of-network costs. That's not ideal when healthcare starts taking up a larger slice of the retirement pie. Then there's winter. Heating costs in Pennsylvania don't politely scale back just because you're no longer commuting to work. Cold months can turn utility bills into recurring budget stress, especially for retirees living on fixed income. Pennsylvania isn't hostile to retirees, but it's not as gentle as it appears. The tax breaks grab your attention while the ongoing costs quietly test your savings. Many retirees discover that while the state doesn't tax their income, it still finds other creative ways to tap their wallet. Number 3. Maryland. Maryland has charm, history, and waterfront views, but it also has a quiet habit of nickel and diming retirees until the math stops working. This is a state that markets itself as retiree-friendly while quietly stacking costs in nearly every category. Taxes are the first red flag. Maryland taxes Social Security differently depending on income, and retirement income exemptions phase out quickly. Translation: middle-class retirees often pay more than expected. Add state income tax, local county taxes, and property taxes, and suddenly your fixed income feels very unfixed. Housing costs remain stubbornly high, especially near desirable areas like Annapolis, Montgomery County, or anywhere within commuting distance of DC. Downsizing doesn't always help. Smaller homes often come with higher HOA fees, rising insurance premiums, and property taxes that refuse to retire when you do. Healthcare access is strong, but expensive. Proximity to world-class hospitals sounds great until you realize Medicare doesn't cover everything, and Maryland medical pricing reflects its affluent population. Out-of-pocket costs creep up fast. Daily expenses don't give retirees much breathing room either. Utilities, transportation, and groceries consistently rank above national averages. Even recreational activities, those things retirement is supposed to be about, carry premium pricing. Maryland retirement feels polished but pricey. It's like being invited to a nice dinner where the food is great, the atmosphere is lovely, and the bill arrives with a little too much confidence. Number 2, Hawaii. Paradise with a price tag. Hawaii sells a dream. Ocean breezes, postcard sunsets, and a slower pace of life that feels tailor-made for retirement. The problem is that the price of maintaining that dream doesn't slow down just because your paycheck does. Almost everything in Hawaii costs more, and not by a little. Groceries arrive by ship or plane, fuel travels a long way, and utilities reflect the reality of island living. Your monthly budget quickly learns what geography means. Housing is the loudest expense in the room. Home prices are among the highest in the country, and downsizing doesn't always bring relief. Rentals are scarce and expensive, often rivaling mortgage payments in other states. Property taxes may look modest on paper, but when applied to high home values, they still hit hard. Healthcare adds another layer of stress. While the quality of care is generally good, options can be limited depending on the island. Specialized treatment often requires travel, and that means flights, hotels, and added expenses that retirees don't always factor into their plans. Insurance premiums and out-of-pocket costs reflect the higher overall cost of living, quietly inflating your medical budget. Daily life costs sneak up too. Dining out, car ownership, home maintenance, even basic repairs tend to carry a premium. The lifestyle is relaxed, but your finances stay on high alert. Retirement in Hawaii often feels like balancing a lei on a tightrope, beautiful but demanding constant focus. Hawaii is paradise, no question. But Paradise expects a healthy savings account, strong cash flow, and a willingness to pay extra for the privilege. On a fixed income, the scenery may be breathtaking, but the numbers can take your breath away too. Number 1. Alaska. Retirement on hard mode. Alaska earns the top spot not because it lacks beauty or character, but because retiring there quietly turns everyday life into an endurance sport. The scenery is breathtaking. The math, less inspiring. Extreme weather alone rewrites your retirement budget. Long, dark winters drive heating costs sky high, and utilities don't offer senior discounts just because you've stopped working. Housing in Alaska comes with its own maintenance reality. Snow removal, roof repairs, insulation upgrades, and weatherproofing aren't optional expenses, they're survival tools. Even modest homes require ongoing attention, and those costs don't slow down just because your income does. Groceries and everyday essentials often arrive with remote location pricing baked in, which means your shopping cart gets expensive fast. Healthcare is where Alaska really tests retirees. Access can be limited, especially outside major cities. Specialized care often requires long travel, sometimes by plane, turning routine medical needs into logistical and financial events. Those travel costs add up quickly, especially for retirees managing chronic conditions or frequent appointments. Then there's isolation. For some, it's peaceful. For others, it becomes costly. Limited services, fewer nearby family members, and reduced access to support networks can push retirees toward paid help, transportation services, or relocation expenses later on. Social isolation can quietly translate into higher living costs over time. Alaska rewards independence, resilience, and flexibility. Retirement there works best for people with strong savings, excellent health, and a genuine love for remote living. For everyone else, it can feel like retirement with difficulty settings turned all the way up. Stunning, unforgettable, and deeply demanding, Alaska is less about slowing down and more about staying ready. We've reached number 1, the end of the countdown. If this list proves anything, it's that retirement isn't just about the size of your nest egg, it's about where that nest is built. Taxes don't stop clocking in when you retire, healthcare doesn't get cheaper out of courtesy, and housing costs don't suddenly develop empathy. In the wrong place, even a well-funded retirement can feel like running uphill with a backpack full of bricks. Every state on this countdown shows how quietly expenses can stack up, turning comfort into compromise and peace of mind into constant budgeting. The goal of retirement isn't just to stop working, it's to stop worrying. And smart location choices can make the difference between enjoying your time and stressing through it. If this breakdown helped you rethink how and where you plan to retire, do yourself a favor, hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who's counting down the years too. More videos are coming to help you retire smarter, protect your money, and actually enjoy the life you worked so hard to build.